So we'd like to say a big Dublin hello to our colleagues in Australia who are attending the Quality in Postgraduate Research Conference. We're going to talk to you today about our experience of using the Research Skills Development Framework to review and develop our approach to teaching research skills to our students from first year to PhD here in the School of Nursing and Midwifery at Trinity College Dublin. My colleagues who are going to speak to you today are Professor Comiskey, who is our Director of Research, and Dr. Gabrielle McKee, who is our Deputy Director of Research, and me, I'm Sylvia Huntley-Moore, the Director of Staff Education and Development.
Great. Thank you, Sylvia. Well, very welcome to Trinity College Dublin, and particularly to the School of Nursing and Midwifery. What I'd like to talk to you about is our research background, and more importantly, before we went to implement and map our research across the framework, our actual what are we good at, what research do we do. So over the past year we have been developing our research portfolio. I have a copy of it here, and what we did is we did a scoping exercise across the school to see, well, what are our research strengths? Because I think we needed to know what is it that we're good at before we could start sort of implementing the framework and teaching the students our research. So we did a scoping exercise. We also looked at what were the needs and demands of the health services in our region and in Europe. We also were quite strategic, and we looked at funding opportunities, and we tried to match those and develop our research matrix. So you will have seen a copy of our research matrix, and you'll see that we have agreed amongst our 69 staff that we actually have 3 main research strengths. So this is what we consider that we are good at. And our first strength is on improving the health and well-being of women, children and families. And that research strength came from the quality research that was being done by staff in the school. Indeed, we have a chair of maternity care. Then our second research strength that we highlighted within the school was the idea of promoting health for marginalised groups. And within that, you'll see we have ageing, health and well-being. We have quite a good group there. Intellectual disability, which would be headed by our head of school, Professor Mary McCarran. Mental health, illness and distress, which would be run and headed really by our Professor Agnes Higgins. And my own area, epidemiology of substance misuse. So we brought that under the heading promoting health for marginalised groups. And then finally, our third sort of area of expertise that we sort of grew out of this scoping exercise was preventing and managing chronic illness. And again, you see we have our 3 areas there, sort of our major research programs. So these are programs that are bringing in money to the school. One of the main ones within that area was what's led by Gabrielle here, Dr. McKee, cardiovascular health and well-being. We also have informal and formal caregiving in chronic illness, and end-of-life and palliative care in malignancy and non-malignancy. So you can take a look at our research programme, and as I say, this came both from the ground and from a scoping exercise by discussing, say, with our key stakeholders, our hospitals that we're linked with, national priorities and EU funding streams. And from that, we devised our research matrix and organisation. So that gave us a focus. So we now can focus our efforts into those 3 research strengths. And they're not set in stone. This is how we are, or where we are at the moment, but this is an evolving process. We're hoping to review this in the next year or 2 years, and perhaps new strengths will emerge, or new priorities within the country or within the EU may emerge, and that remains to be seen. So that really is where we're at in terms of our research strengths, and we have gathered that together within our new research portfolio, which will be available on our web. And then we took that, and Gabrielle, of course, was obviously very involved in that process and developed our framework, or our programmes across the framework. Gabrielle.
Following on for that, we are a very big school, the School of Nursing and Midwifery. We have about 1,300 students at this current time, both undergraduate and postgraduate. So we have identified our research strengths. So our next objective then was to go and look at research and how we deal with research and all of these students and what they wanted from research. When we started to look at this, there was 2 major issues. Getting a coherent approach to research across the different levels, starting from a first year undergraduate level right up through the graduation to postgrad, right up to PhD. Like I said, it's a big school, so we have many module leaders in charge of different modules. So this framework we're going to use to identify and coordinate all those different modules to make sure that research comes across in a more cohesive manner, both inside pure research modules and outside research modules. So in that way that we can give our students an interest in research, because that's what we found. We found that particularly the undergraduates found it very difficult to see the relevance of research to nursing. So it was up to us to try and identify this, to actually challenge ourselves to get rid of this, that they can become more involved in research, both for their own understanding, for their learning, also for their exploration and understanding of their nursing skills, and to have these as generic skills throughout their career, and also from a pure research point of view, that they will be able to do research at a very basic level, and also, if that's their career pathway, at a more advanced level. So this is the tool that's going to help us in that particular quest.
Yeah, that's great. So why did we choose the Research Skills Development Framework? Well, I guess to some extent it was a happy accident that I met John at the ISED conference in Salt Lake City some time ago, and was immediately impressed by the Research Skills Development Framework. We invited John to Ireland to come and do a workshop for us here in the School of Nursing and Midwifery. And he was also a brilliant keynote speaker at our All-Ireland Society for Higher Education National Conference. So John came to the school and he did a lovely introductory workshop for us where he introduced the framework. And this was really important to developing our conversation about how we teach research in the school, because it brought us together. And I think the framework itself enabled us to move beyond our personal interests in research and our personal ideas of what we think students should know about research. So it was important in that respect. So following John's seminar, we agreed that there was a need to actually review the way we teach research and the way it's presented to students from their first year right through to PhD. So we decided that we would use the framework and set up a project team to look at this issue. And we decided that our project team should be drawn from each of the nursing and midwifery disciplines. So we have someone from psychiatric nursing, general nursing, ID nursing, and midwifery who are part of the project team. And initially, we used the framework to map where we are now in terms of our program outcomes as they relate to research and our individual modules. So we've taken the framework itself and we looked at, for example, our Bachelor of Science Nursing outcomes, and we looked at the ones that specifically were related to research, and we worked out where they fitted on the framework. Then we went back and looked at the first year modules, second, third and fourth year modules for the BSc and mapped them onto the framework. And we did this with our postgraduate programs, our master's programs, right up to PhD. And this was really useful for us because it enabled us to see in a very visual way where it was that our students' skills were fitting in terms of the framework. And we've almost finished doing that now, and we're really pleased with it. And next we're going to use the framework to actually say, okay, so if this is where we are now in terms of research skills development, where do we want to be? Where do we want our students to be at the end of first year, second year, third year, fourth year, at the end of their BSc, their PG DIP, their master's programs and right up to PhD. So next we're going to map what we think is the ideal. And once we have done that, then we're going to go back and go, okay, how are we going to develop these skills in terms of the specifics of the modules? But I think this will be really important for us too, because we decided that we wanted to try and create a community of researchers and involve our students as part of our community from their first year with us. And this is really the framework that's enabling us to do that.
And I suppose also it really adds to the quality of the work that the students are producing. I mean, over the past 5 years, we've graduated 960 postgraduate students. That's a lot of students and it's a lot of research projects. So if we can improve the quality and we can focus on our research strengths and improve our quality and our teaching of research across those postgraduate students, well then obviously we're going to improve our publications, it's going to improve practice, it's going to inform policy. So there's great excitement about that, about the moving forward. But also I'd like to make a point about, you know, the undergraduates as well, because we're actually involved in this process. It brings it to the front of your mind. So at the moment I'm teaching 250 second years an elective in statistics, which you can imagine they love. But because I'm involved in this process, while I'm teaching it, I'm thinking of the research strengths, I'm thinking of, now this is a closed inquiry at this stage, you know, I should ask them a specific question. So it's actually enhanced my teaching of statistics, you know, and I think the students, well, hopefully they will benefit too. So in terms of the quality of the work being produced, both at undergraduate and certainly at postgraduate, I would hope that would focus and improve the quality of our outputs and, you know, help us to continue to be a leading university.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Gabrielle.
No, that's about rounds me up for now.
Okay.
I think we've said.
Well, we'll
say goodbye.
We'll say goodbye.
Thank you
and
very
thank
much.
you to John.
And thank
Good
you very
luck.
much. And we're very happy to answer any questions, or please visit our website and look at our research matrix. It's great. Thank you.
Bye now.